and roll, baby.
You're in. Let's go, Ben. You're the man. Let's go.
Yeah, we are good to go. So again, if you're locked in and watching right now, give us some likes, give us some love, share this right now, because you know we're about to say something that someone needs to hear. As you can see, we've got the gorgeous Barry in front of us right now. We're going to explain why he's either Simon's love child or my love child, but that'll be further into today's interview. But, you know, it's an absolute pleasure to have this man on today. But again, before we get started, you know, we love to set the pace off with a little bit of energy, and we want to know about you. So give us your biggest win or your biggest breakthrough with added where you're tuning in from today.
Yeah, that would be key. I'm just going to send the link out to everyone. That's the
Simon's sending a link out there. I'm absolutely impressed. You know, you can tell Barry's an absolute groomsman when you compare my beard to Simon's beard. And, you know, the professional. I think you've done that beard especially for today, Barry.
I actually shaved my head earlier, man. It was starting to annoy me.
I have this rule. I have this rule every week that we don't bring anyone on who's got hair anymore. Fuck it. You know, if I ain't got hair, ain't nobody having hair. That's happening. That is the most
that is
complete.
Actually true. He said, Ben, you're going to be the guy that only has hair in the show. You know, that's why.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you got loads.
The reason I started doing this, I figured I could save myself 600 quid a year doing my own hair and beard. So I was like, So I just started doing it myself. Sorry?
Where do you have your haircut? £600 a year. I think
it's about $50 a month. $50 a month to get the beard and the head done. So I do it every 2 weeks. So I was like,
fucking hell. What a man. Dropping nuggets of wisdom already. You can tell Ben's been to the hairdressers. He ain't got his cap on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at mine there, like soft top.
Welcome to the lockdown hair salon styling secrets session.
Man, if you need all those beard grooming tips, don't worry, let me know.
So, folks, if you're tuning in,
little hobby of mine.
Yeah, if you're tuning in, hit the like button, say hello, say hey. And Ben already fired us up a little bit. We're a little bit late today because we had a few technical problems. Ben's had a wonderful morning by the signs of it. But yeah, say hello. Let us know where you're at. And yeah, what's been the highlight of your week? What's been the highlight of it? You know, what's been the highlight of your week? Pop it in the comments, and then we'll probably just dive in. I think Baz is a cool dude. I'll let Ben talk about that in a little bit. But we got Baz on because we were talking about some discipline. We were saying, last week we had Jay on and he was talking about building habits and all that was great stuff. And we were like, nice to talk about a bit of discipline. So I messaged Ben this morning and said, what should we get Baz to chat about? You went, discipline. Because Baz is probably the most disciplined bloke I've met. Really, it's mad. And discipline's a good thing to have, and it will help you accelerate your results. Because every week we're showing you everyone some stuff, right? I mean, Ben's dropping bombs every week, showing you stuff to do. Sometimes we got to be able to do it. So apparently we've got subtitles on here again. I don't know where they come from, but they're amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. So what's been the best bit of your week? And Ben, what's been the highlight of your week while everyone's just tuning in and commenting?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I've had a great birthday weekend. Monday was an absolute blast. You know, we broke some rules. We had a good old family barbecue. We had some fun. And it was great to be around it. And, I feel as you get older, it's less about the presents and more about the memories, right? So just sat there and having a good time. I don't know. Maybe it's my old age, but no, I had a great birthday. I'm truly blessed.
Mate, nice. How old are you? 31, 32?
Yeah, put about 7 on it.
Oh, mate, you look good. You look good. 38, 39. So highlight your week. Birthday. Ben's birthday, everyone. If you didn't send him a present in the post, what's your problem? He's turning up here every week, doing his thing, and he didn't even get any fan mail. I noticed you and Barry have won some kind of exact outfit. Oh.
I was thinking to myself, Ben's got underarm on today.
Yeah. Me and Barry had a little chat this morning, didn't we, B?
Yeah, what's that, man?
I said, me and you had a little chat this morning.
Yeah.
Colour coordination.
Same colour.
Right.
Less hair, more hair.
there's a few in here. What's been the best bit of my week? Jason Etheridge, one of the crew, being informed I'm starting my new job next week. Nicola Cass, actually, he's one of the crew. Making garden with my best friend yesterday. First time seen her since before Christmas last year. Nice. Highlight my week is that I'm away at my boyfriend's house. Lovely. Watching my garden grow. Ah, mate, nice. Jill's in, sitting in the sun in my garden. Joanne Patson, some great time outdoors with the kids. Sunsets. The sunsets have been class. Oven. Really nice.
Do you know what I love about these things, Si, when you hear them? And you see the consistency happening. It's just always those nice little things. That's a massive win.
Simple
you know what I mean? It's good to see. It's great to see, being with your kids, going back to work. They're huge wins, and hopefully we're getting to that today. But you've got to celebrate that like you've won a world title. Yeah, I mean, you've got to really like fist pump it. It's not just saying it. You've got to like, yeah, that's like I've won there. And there ain't no harm in winning. And even if you don't win, at least you've got the driving force or the winning mentality, right? Barry will get into that today, but it's a new thing for me now, Sam. And I think I got it from the man Kane last week. Was you just got to celebrate that win? It's as small as big, it doesn't matter. It's the emotional win that we need to celebrate, and give it back to the gods.
I tell you what, the thing I think about this is quite a cool point. I think we seem to think that if we're winning, and that's at the cost of somebody else in life, right? Like, if I celebrate all the good things in my life, like it's robbing other people of all the good things. But that's a little bit like thinking, well, I shouldn't be so healthy because that makes everyone else unhealthy. Well, if I'm healthy, then everyone else is unhealthy. No, you're healthy. You're healthy. Like people don't celebrate success because we think it's like it's robbing other people of success. Whatever your success is.
It's arrogant.
Yeah. I mean, like. Or you have to be humble. You have to be humble, and it's like, geez, like when do I actually get to celebrate like all the achievements from hard work?
Now you got to celebrate like that and jump up or down, like you say, Barry. Like, and it doesn't matter if anybody else notices it. You've got to jump. But just while we're touching on that, I think it's a great point. Schools, and I feel sorry for the teachers because I know they don't really agree with it, but. They were telling kids not to celebrate winning for the kid that didn't win, right? And I'm like, whoa, you got this mixed up because you're going through life and not having that, one experience of being exposed for that. But for two, no one loses if they do the best. And just because they become first, having that appreciation of someone winning, but at the same time reflecting on, you done your best and you didn't lose. You're never going to lose if you do your best, I mean, we've got the mirror facing the wrong way, so no, that's a good point to talk.
It's like every time my jiu-jitsu coach chokes me out, he always says to me, he says, "You win or you learn." And I was like, "But I haven't won yet." And he's like, next level." Next level. Keep going. I mean, the guy's like multiple champion black belt, and I'm like, every single time I think I'm learning from him. Some, boom, pull some other. And I'm just like, seriously. But it's adapting that headspace of like, I'm not losing, I'm just learning. There's a very different energy and emotion that comes from I learn I win, not I lose.
Yeah, I like that. That's a key point for everyone, because sometimes we all get things wrong. Sometimes we all make mistakes, and sometimes we all don't get that great at don't do that well at certain things. But like you say, if you learn from it, then you're going to get better. If you just say, "Oh, I've lost," then nothing else happens to that, does it? How we handle the adversity is king. This is the exact mindset of lockdown.
Yeah.
The whole point of these lockdown lives. It's like, what can you do? I know what you can't do. Yeah, I know you can't do certain things. What can we do? I get caught up in focusing what I can't do. Oh, I can't do this, can't do that, can't go there. What can I do? Anyone can moan about what we can't do. I love it when I see that on Facebook as well. Everyone is moaning about the reality of life. It's like, you're not doing anything about it when you're moaning about it. I'd rather be around people who are actually, trying to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it takes as much energy to moan as it does to focus on a solution. The exact same amount of energy.
Can you hear my laptop? Can you hear that?
I thought it was my phone.
No, it's Jess. If you're watching it, Jess, stop bloody messaging me, please. So,
hey, I thought that was just like ideas springing, the noise of ideas springing off in our heads.
So here's a question for everyone watching, because there's about 40 people here at the minute, which is cool. Like, what's something you've learned from lockdown? because this episode we're going to make all about you lot. We're going to do Q&A for 20 minutes, answer any question about anything we covered. Me, Baz, and Ben. Between the three of us, we'll have most things covered. What is the number one thing you've learned from lockdown? Because if we haven't learned anything, I think it's been wasted. So I'm interested. Everyone in the comments, what's the number one thing you've learned? Baz, what's the number one thing you've learned?
What's the number one thing I've learned?
In lockdown, about life, about you. What's the number one takeaway?
Just how blessed I am, really. Like I tend to forget very often because I'm up so early in the morning. I'm so boom like this from 4 a.m. until 6 p.m. at night. I tend to forget like little things around me. Like I'm blessed to have. Like I walk past my car. I haven't walked past my car in about 2 years and gone, damn, I really appreciate my car. I appreciate being able to see my wife and wake up. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but we get into such what was normal, is now the blinkers have been taken off. And I think a lot of us are realizing, like, do I really want to be traveling 3 hours a day on a train in and out of London for work? Do I really want that? Like, there was a survey, that I was looking at on HSBC, and the UK has the most unhappy workforce, late 20s to early 50s. 50% of them do not want to go back into the workplace. 50%.
Yeah. Man,
that's a big chunk of change.
So you've learned to slow down and appreciate the fact your family and maybe appreciate what you have.
It's not that I don't, but I think it's a different level. It's a new level of appreciation, and just like this could go away in a heartbeat, and I appreciate it. But now having that deeper level has just meant the ability to slow down, like you said, and just go, hey, it is what it is right now, and will it be like this forever? I don't know, but it is what it is, and I can either love it and really get involved with it, or I can fight it the whole time and actually, turn into the old me from like 5 years ago, who was a bit of an arsehole.
I like it. There's been some good comments in here actually before Ben shares. Like, I think this is really important. Thanks, Jess, for another photos. So we got people saying like time is precious. Working from home has been good. Family values. Kind of learned a lot about my family. Jason's learned how easy it is to fall apart during crisis, but also how easy it is to avoid that with the right mental tools. Jason's in our program, so
yeah.
Richard Stott, we all know Mr. Stott very well. He's learned that he doesn't need to have a lot of people around me to feel happy, which is nice. Dave Perriman's like, being able to do this 7-day challenge. That's something we're doing. By the way, if you're in a 7-day challenge, give us a little 7-day challenge. Fucking holler. Feeling happy. Do you know what I mean? Feeling happy about life, people I care about. Cheryl McPherson's put alone doesn't mean lonely. I think we covered that in one of our feeds. Big difference between being alone and lonely. You can be lonely around hundreds of people. Alone is very different to lonely. So Gemma's in. Hey, Gem, what's up? Knowing that stripping back to basic routines means you can still achieve. Yeah. I think that
back to basics.
100%. Most of our days full of faff and shit. We don't need to be productive.
Yeah.
People have learned they're stronger than they realized. I think a lot of people have realized that. How different we all are. That's a good lesson, right? There's loads.
I think also people have also realized what they do and don't want. Being enforced to slow down. There are a lot of those conversations that have been avoided. A lot of those. I mean, unfortunately, one of the individuals that I support dropped him a text. Hey, what's up? Seen you haven't logged in, training. That's it. The lockdown's been enough. I filed my divorce papers. I was like, whoa. He's like, I've been holding off on this for too long. Like, and I think it's such a great opportunity, or I don't know when it's coming to an end. I haven't really focused on that, but those conversations we all avoid. This has been a time that we have to sit down and really get comfortable with the conversation that's going on in our head, that we can't be distracted by rushing off to a meeting or a bus or a train or, dropping off kids. We've had to sit down and have those conversations, get clear, get really clear.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Ben, you look like you're gazing off into the sunset there, really contemplating life. Like you looked very stoic then. You were looking away. Look, you could have been. If I'd have took a picture, you could have been like a model in a catalog. You look virile.
You know, I love a good observer. And I was just reflecting on what Barry was saying there, and some of the comments of the guys tuning in. That you know, it's progressive. I'm seeing a lot of progression, you know, from a professional standpoint. I know at first is always that, you know, what's going on, but you know, it's amazing what people are capable of when we're put on a line, right? But for me personally, you know, we've all dealt with stuff, and you know, I've dealt with a lot in my life. But this situation that we're in, seeing how we've adapted and adjusted and dealt with whatever's gone on as a family, you know, seeing what we're capable of as a family in good and bad and the ugly, has been a real insight to me, and just, you know, the strength of my wife, the strength of my kids, the way they've adapted, the way we've seen it. You know, in a way, it's forced us to change. But you know, we've been preparing for things like this for a long time. You know, we've been training, we've been in the camps. It's times like this for people who are aware and making a conscious effort in all areas of life to not just, you know, be in a rat race, but also be in a place of decision for themselves. Or just that way of, you got your own world. And you know, this is what happened on Monday on my birthday. I mean, I was sat there with all the riches that people want in life in terms of the emotion, right? Yeah, everything we do, like you say, Si, is for the feeling. So I've got every emotion I want to feel. I'm feeling loved, I'm feeling connected, and I'm feeling very grateful, I'm feeling very humble, I'm seeing everyone having a good time. I'm in real time. You know, where we was situated, the party was, you know, it's not the nicest place in Manchester, but for right there, the world was ours, right? And it was that part of being present, and I've been everything that I want. I'm reflecting on that just stabilized and made me understand, you know, again, what we're capable of, and anyone's capable of. You can do that. Anybody, right? It's anybody can have that as well.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's not a limited resource. That for us.
No, it is exactly. The things that we go after are a limited resource, right? So, you know, I feel like it's just more than anything. If I nip it in the bud, you know, sometimes you train and you just experience some real growth in the gym, right, out of nowhere. They just all in training sessions catch up, and that's how it's felt over this time that we've been in. That, you know, of physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, I've just grown exponentially, and you know, I'm liking what it's made us become.
Yeah, nice. I mean, you two ain't going to ask me. I'm going to obviously have to ask myself. But I think one thing.
No, when you didn't ask the question, right? He's dying to go, like Simon. Yeah, Simon, your turn. Phone a friend.
I think. Do you know what, man? I was thinking while you were talking. I was trying to stay present, but I think for me, it's, you know, what's lockdown teach you. You know, what is a broad. You've got some personal lessons. If I was to think of a broad one, I think most people's strengths come from things they can't control. That's it. If your strength is found in the safety of your world, then you'll never be safe. You'll never be strong. And when the shit hits the fan, the person with the sharpest mind, the greatest emotional intelligence, the clearest purpose, they will be okay. Honestly believe that. I think that if you sharpen the main tool in your life, which is us, what do I have to worry about? What do I have to worry about when I know that I can replace anything business-wise, all these other things people worry about? If you fancy your chances, you'll always be all right. And I think the better your shape you're in mentally and emotionally, the better these situations go. All the other flip way is, you know, just watch everyone try and control everything they can and argue about what they can. I'm going to try and fight this because I don't get what I want. It's just fingers always pointed out, I think, in the majority of society. I honestly think that. I think the person who takes responsibility and says, here's where I'm at, here, what can I do, is going to do well. But that takes a certain level of mental and emotional freedom. All the way, it's very easy to find excuses and justifications for where we're at. We've all got them. I've got them. You've got them. But when I take responsibility and say, right, what can I do? And how can I sharpen my own my own powers of creation, which are my mind, my body, and my emotions. If I can sharpen them, then I'm in a better place. And all the alternative is hope, believe that life happens to me. And people love that belief, and that's fine. But if I believe that it's always happening, then I become a victim to my own position. So I appreciate that there's things happening in life I can't control. People's health I can't control. People's actions I can't control. There's lots of things outside of me I can't control. But there's a huge fucking amount of things I can control. And if I put my energy there, I do all right. And it's just my observation that most of the world puts all of their effort and energy and trust into the things they can't control.
I was making some steak a few weeks back, and I had the TV on in the background. There's one news bulletin I watch a day just to know kind of what's happening. And some expert came on. I don't quite remember her name, but she was saying the government has to give us confidence. And I stopped and I turned like this, and all I saw was my wife's face just going like this. She knew what I was like, so we're going to farm our confidence out to an external source. I was like, what? I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So I was like,
the thing is, nobody can make anyone confident.
No.
Can they? Like it doesn't matter what you put in place. If I don't feel good about it, I don't feel good about it. And you've probably had this in life. There's people in your life you'll never please. You could bend over backwards forever and they're still not happy. Yeah. Imagine trying to do that to a whole population of people who just need that one extra thing to make me rest assured. You've got to go and experience it for yourself, haven't you? So anyway, that's what I learned. I learned that if every human on the planet has the ability to think clearer, feel better, everyone has that to make better decisions. I think that is something we can all do. And I think if we do it, we get better results. We feel better. That's what I have certainly learned as a whole. And I enjoyed hearing what you two learned. Because you're right. What you focus on grows. Everyone's stopped and gone, actually, maybe I've got a lot in my life that's decent. Yeah. So, folks, we're going to cover some questions. We're going to talk to Baz a bit about discipline. Did that make sense, though? I love the lessons we got in here, by the way. They were class.
We went real deep there. We was like, we're going to have to start charging for this soon, Si. This is some prime time TV.
I just love all these people.
Have to start like administration entry fee would be like 50 burpees or a 1K run or something just to tune in. You got to show some commitment, because this is some next level stuff. We're getting that deep. People ain't going to understand us in a minute,
I'm sure they will. But it does come back to that. I think you were going to touch upon this real quickly because we're going to cover some questions for all of us. But any questions you have about anything we've covered ever, folks, pop them in the comments. We'll bring them up because we got Baz here, we got Ben here, everyone's here, so we got some time. But what's that, Baz? I love it. We spoke today about
That's not me, mate. That's not me.
I think that's what we're in there. They're going to come through in a minute.
We spoke about I spoke about other people's opinions today on Facebook. Yeah. I wrote, and Ben said, I want to touch upon what you wrote about other people's opinions, wasn't it? Was it that?
Yeah, I mean, I love the opinion stuff. Anyway, we've argued that a long time, but we're just talking around the situation that we're in. And I think we've all touched on it this week, but, that whole situation that we're in around this mental health week and whatever is going on, and I respect what's happening, but this whole, we just got to be kind. You just killed it today, but that concept is so far from the truth, it's untrue. It's not kind what they're saying, in fact. But yeah, I just wanted to deep dive on that a little bit more. More than foremost, what inspired you to write that post, man? What triggered you?
What, the post about other people's opinions? Well, you know what, I was ruminating that in my head for about 4 or 5 days, to be fair. I just think I don't proclaim to be a mental health expert personally. I'm certainly a mindset expert. If you want to come and get the best mind you've ever had, I think people know they need to come here. And it's conversations. I'm lucky to hang out with people like you two, aren't we? All together, we get some different conversations. But I just feel like the whole be nice thing is this bullshit. And that's just what I felt. I literally just felt it. I sat there and I thought it's crap, because people aren't nice. And it comes back to safety. We have this myth that we can keep everyone on the planet safe. No, we can't. And we have this myth that we should make everybody nice. Like, everybody's got to be nice to each other. And that would be wonderful if everybody was kind of good, as in they told people, if I need some constructive feedback, I get it, I take it on the chin. Wonderful. Like, but not everyone is nice. And you're never going to have a world where everybody's nice, because it's only a perception anyway. And I just think that we waste our efforts. We go, oh, everyone be nice. But people aren't. And so we make vulnerable, weak people then. If I need everybody to be nice to me for me to be okay, then I'm going to suffer in life. I'm going to struggle because people aren't nice. My inbox is full of things. Not long back, somebody told me they hope my dog died. Right. I hope your dog died.
I'm sorry. I have very dog humor.
And then everyone watching, you probably still...
It was Barry, man. Look at him laughing. We found him.
And I know it's stupid, right? But I was like, get lost. You ain't going to talk to me like that. Like, get lost. Yeah. And then I'm really struggling. Guess what? It don't give you the right to be a prick.
Yeah.
Get that entitled attitude out of your head. What, you're struggling so you can talk to me and everyone else like absolute shit, and I've got to be nice to you. No. Yeah. No, not on my watch.
Can you imagine kindness like 2 million years ago when some other big caveman's trying to take your cave because he's cold?
Trust Barry to
and throw you outside.
Trust Barry to go back to that. I love that.
It's the same thing. It's like you just get your head crushed in. You know, you just get chucked outside or eaten or.
But the thing I say, the reason I brought it up is because I just think we put our efforts, to be serious, I just think we put our efforts in the wrong place. If we want to, we try and make safe people, not strong people. I'm not saying everyone can around to be horrible, but people aren't nice. And also, people who say be nice generally mean that's everyone agreeing. Like, oh, be nice until you don't agree with me, and then I'm not nice.
Speak your mind.
Yeah, so I think be nice doesn't work there. And so, because I think ultimately nice is a perception. Also, it makes quite a lot of people, there's a lot of people who disagree with me probably right now, but just because they have a different point, it doesn't mean they're being horrible. They have different points. So that's good in life. To have different viewpoints is good. Needing people to agree is why everyone's at war all the time. You've got to agree with me. If you don't, I'm going to change your mind. That's nonsense. Yeah. So these are the reasons
It's a great point you're making there, Sion, and that's it. Like, kindness is part of this process, but we're not saying it's just not the only way. Everyone has to be kind. That's what we're kind of elaborating towards, because obviously there's a time to be kind, there's a time to be loving, there's a time to appreciate, time to humble, there's a time to protect. And that's what you were saying, that I love that. No, it's not just about being kind to everyone, because that's not reality. But part of this process that we're in, obviously, we're kind people. We live with an open heart, as you've taught as well. And kindness is obviously a part of the process, but it's not the solution. And that's what we're trying to quote this situation. And me elaborating on mental health this week, I just wanted to touch on is 9 times out of 10, it's not a mental health issue, and it's an emotional issue. And everyone wants to revisit, you know, when people speak about mental health, and I've been there myself, I know it's great to talk. Yeah, of course it is. But to keep revisiting that, and as we know, emotions are feedback, and just keep, you know, my mental health 4 years ago this way, you know, you've got to understand that tough things in life is not there to give you a mental health problem. And it's this training of the emotional health, that revisiting it and reimbursing it and giving it energy and giving it feeling and giving it time and giving it reality. It comes out of choice. So, you know, that's what we need to look.
Yeah, you're right. I think you could change the word nice to understand him.
Yeah. But I also think too many people avoid conflict, and then they know they need to stand up and say something, but they won't. They'll repress that, and then it comes out. You know, kid does something at home, and that, you know, that need to have solved something at work, or, you know, potentially, you know, a discussion that needed to be had with a partner comes out in another way. You know, I think that's just what I found. Maybe just culturally, having moved from South Africa to here. South Africa, you know, like, if there's something to be said, it gets said direct, bam, and that's it. You know, and I really struggled with that for a long time. Yeah, when I first moved to the UK, you know, I thought, okay, can I say that? Can I not say that? And the more that I just leaned into, hey, I've just got to say it. I've just got to say what's on my mind. This is a load of horseshit.
Yeah, repressing anything.
Yeah.
Repressing anything is dangerous. Repressing anything for a human being is dangerous. Right, we got a lot of questions here. Is my internet all right, Ben? Can you all still hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. Right, I'm going to bring them up on the screen because this is a great question, and I'm going to relate this to... My internet's gone real slow.
Cool.
Can you hear that? Can you see it? Can you see the question?
Yeah.
I can. My internet's gone awful. So
can you read it, Si? Or do you want me to read it?
Nah, you read it out because I think it's great.
Yeah,
I can
so
see
it's a great question by Nicola Karsak, and I appreciate the question. So the question is, what might help if what you're passionate about can actually be a setback to your own well-being? How do you preserve your own energy when working towards helping others without limiting your practice of it?
Right. If we keep to a minute each, right, on each question, if you had to pick one thing for a minute, what would you say about that? How can somebody preserve their energy when they're passionate about something, someone? It can be a person. It doesn't have to be a job. It can be like somebody else's health, somebody else's life. We all get passionate about that.
Well, I've got this. I think I want to go first on this, and this is just my, view on this. Is that what I'm hearing? If I've read the question right, so I was in a place like this for a long time, that I was serving everybody else with my passion before myself. I was involved in everybody else's business before my own, and it's a story that we go back to about being a lighthouse of the tugboat. And I gave more of a damn about everybody else's result than they did themselves, and it was coming at the cost of me. So I don't know if that helps in any way in terms of that. We can pass it on a little bit, but it also goes back to, if your passion is coming at the cost of your own health, trying to help others, it's not the passion that's wrong, it's the way we're delivering it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would say always have some kind of boundaries in place. I mean, I truly mean that. I think when you're passionate about a topic and helping people, or even if you're passionate about your family, and you want them to be all happy and you want them to do well in life, I think you need to create boundaries. You can't care more than they care.
Yeah.
We work very hard on creating boundaries in our stuff because you imagine all the people we help and we train and we work with. If you're trying to tug them along and make them do the work they need to do to be happy, if you care more than them, man, it's an awful position to be.
Yeah. You get into this, what we call convince. We get into get energy. We're getting to we end up in and here's a great point to touch on as well. And I've had this myself, this is why I can speak highly of it, is that we get into a level of care that we actually end up in a level of overcare.
Exactly.
Right? And we end up in a place that is not beneficial to either party.
Yeah.
And in this level of overcare, it doesn't mean that you don't care. You just have to find the appropriate level of care.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
And she's followed up actually before Baz comes in. It's more professionally to personally. Personal boundaries are firmly in place. Yeah, you need professional ones. Like I said in that little post today, the myth that you should want to help everyone's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. I don't want to help everyone. Some people aren't willing to help themselves. They don't get help yet. When they are ready, they get help. We have to look beyond this thing that my job is to do everything for everyone. It's not. Yeah.
Can I add a little bit to that?
Yeah.
I'm into personal branding and into the business of, being your own brand. But when we're talking about this, regardless what business you're in, your values and what you want to share or the solution, the problem that you solve for people is congruent with your message. And if, you're not true to that, what you're trying to get, I'm not saying you aren't, you can attract the wrong market, the wrong people. And you've got to find that space, that what you say in terms of those values. And again, going back to the problem that you solve, once that certainty and that humble gratitude comes out there, it will attract and it will deflect the people that don't. So if we try to market to everybody with a generic message, it's a little bit for them, a little bit for them, You know, this is where I find most people's businesses really struggle. One, because they attract the wrong crowd. Two, because they're not very zoned in on the people that they want to help.
I like it. Baz, do you want to share something on maybe this topic of overcare? You know, when you notice, make it a thing as well when you overcare and get in someone's business.
Yeah, you get what you tolerate. You get what you tolerate. Like I can relate back to when I first started as a PT. Like I was like, anyone with a wallet and a pulse, and it's like I wanted this more than them, and like I was like, oh, my little savage has arrived. Hello, Alex. Sorry, guys. Okay, not right now. Sorry, guys. You get to this surprise. It's not John Jones on the UFC. You get what you tolerate, and
you
know, like if you're gonna constantly make allowances and move outside the constraints, we've all got boundaries, and you'll just repress it. You want to say something, and yeah, it doesn't end well. You know, you end up not delivering what you said you would. You find, like, man, I know I've been there where I've just dealt with people that in the end you just eventually have to just go, look, this isn't working for me, and that takes a tremendous amount of guts, you know, because in your head you're playing around with this fear, these anxieties, these stories like what if, but when you do it, boom, there you go, weight off your shoulder. So yeah, constraints and tolerance. You get what you
I know. There's three things for not just work, but you're not talking about business here. We're talking about life. You know, you're going to get drained if you have no boundaries in your life, no personal boundaries. People get, and Baz is right, you get what you tolerate. Like, but why do people keep treating me like this? Well, stop tolerating it. Like, you don't have to fight, you know, but you have to strategically ignore that kind of behavior. So I think that's a really important topic. Most people have no energy because they give it away to everyone. Right, we got a good question here. I feel I see so much bad in people. You know, do I need to accept the bad? Now, what a question. You know, do I need to accept the bad? I mean, this is quite a deep question. Probably too deep for a lockdown live. What do you think, Ben? But I'm gonna dive in anyway.
Well, we're here to give value, man. Let's go with it.
I think good and bad is a pure perception. What I think is a bad person, somebody else thinks is good. And here's what I know about life. If I can see it in somebody else, then I have the capability to be it in a way or not. And it's usually not the behavior, maybe the quality. So do I have to accept bad in people? I don't have to accept bad in people, but I like to be aware that if there's always, you know, that actually we're all human. We all have the ability to you know, display any behavior. And if you're unwilling to accept patterns in yourself, you'll always know everywhere else. And I think that's really crucial to understand. The world gets caught up in good and bad all the time. We're very we love that. Like, oh, that's good, that's bad, this is good, that's bad. Unfortunately, but like I say, for me, if you are to be whole as a person, you have to understand, you have to accept that you are capable of anything, even if you're not doing it. We're all capable of every quality, and I'm certainly capable of being a bad person. I'm sure there's been many people about go, oh, he's a terrible person, he's so bad, he's done this, he's done that. But also, I'm certainly capable of being an absolutely incredible person. So I tend not to get caught up in good or bad, and I tend to try and not get caught up in anyone else's business. Why do I need them to not be bad? Why do I need everyone in life to be bad? So that's my philosophy and my personal philosophy I like to practice. And I could go way deep and deep and deep and deep, and we do a lot of work on this in our programs. But one of the easiest ways to, you know, in fact, that's where I'm going to leave it. Otherwise, we're going to open up a can of worms. But what do you think, Ben, on that?
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head. That's some clarity on it there. And, you know, sometimes we don't just see the bad in people, and, you know, in situations like, is this a bad situation that we're going through? But then they're seeing some good, and it's that whole story, isn't it? The good, bad, who knows? Maybe we'll share that another time. But I think that's enough. You know, it is all perception. What one person sees, another person doesn't. And you know, if you're observing that, The more you focus on that, then the more it will grow. And, you know, if you want to place a life of focus on that and actually thing to do, then cool. I don't see no bad in that. But if it's not your thing to do, you know, then we need to switch what we're focusing on, if that's our main observation of people, because it serves no purpose for me in any type of progression whatsoever.
Well, one thing I would say is this: if you're most people believe that the external world we see is projected from internally. I think most people believe that. They're like, yeah, I'm projecting onto my life. I see what I project. So if you believe that, then you must be capable of it here as well, as you wouldn't see it. So it's a good question.
Here's another thing as well I just want to bring up. I was thinking the other day that I feel for most people are struggling emotionally right now are great people, are good people. Because people that don't give a shit don't feel like that. So that's maybe a way of distinguishing what's not worth what you would call bad in the world, because I don't see people that want to harm people feeling the way that good people are. And I think the balance is kind of wrong right now. You know, people actually care, are in this emotional turbulence, as you would so say, and people that don't, that are in there now. It's not saying you don't have to not care about people, obviously, but it's just fine tuning that.
Yeah, I hear you. Guys, that makes sense. Is there any more questions coming in? We got loads of questions. Somebody loves James loves the old you get what you tolerate, Baz. My man James loves that.
Yeah.
We got any questions?
Every area.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does.
I think also sometimes you got to be, you know, bad, so to speak. Sometimes you got to, you know, like I'm not a violent person, but I become a bad, like when I'm in a tournament for jiu-jitsu, like I'm not a nice person. Like you would be horrified at the things that go through my head that motivate me to go out and win. You know, that doesn't make me a bad, abusive, murderous criminal or whatever it is. So, you know, it's all context, right?
You gonna bring that lad on the live or what?
Alex.
Come on. Everyone wants to see the little man. Come on. This is a family-friendly show. Come on, get him in there.
Yeah, we were rolling jiu-jitsu before this.
What's up, Alex?
He said, hello.
Yeah. He looks like you.
Who's your favorite athlete? Lionel Messi, John Jones? Dinosaur.
No, ain't that true, right? Ain't that true? The kids' world, we all need to be a bit kid-like. Give you two choices, like, nah, none of them. Dinosaur.
Kathy, can you just type that question again? I don't think I quite understand it. Type it, and we'll go from there. So, any questions about anything we've covered, about absolutely anything? I mean, I know, you know, I've got 5 minutes. I know the lads have. But it's been nice getting Baz on. We were going to talk about discipline, and in the end, Baz just shared some nuggets as we were going, which I liked it. More conversational.
Good.
I love the fact you gotta embrace that. Bring him up on the screen, Baz. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No,
Ben's in some kind of boudoir.
He loves the camera. This one loves the camera. A bit of a poser.
Good man.
Poser. Yeah, I think, like, guys, when it comes to discipline, I think, you know, just there's this massive misconception. Like everyone, like just from my background in performance sport, everyone's always looking at the top of the pyramid. You know, I'm going to go and do what Jess Ennis did, or I'm going to go and do, you know, what Serena Williams did. No. Please don't interrupt me. Anyway.
Maria's car is going back.
Oh, okay. So basically, you know, like that's all society portrays, is this top of the pyramid. No one ever looks at the foundation that's been put in place. The hours and hours and hours and hours of graft, disappointment, you know, broken shoes, injuries, disputes with coaches, the upheaval, missing airplanes, you know, like, and that's where we can all, you know, when we like, everyone wants to be a high performer. That seems to be this thing these days. You know, high performance. But you get nowhere near the top of the pyramid without capacity, clarity, and energy. You get nowhere. And
I think you've touched upon, not to interrupt you, you've touched upon something important there. I get this a lot. Everyone here is probably thinking, what's that got to do with me? But everyone I speak to who comes in contact with me, probably Ben as well at this point, is like, yeah, I want to feel better, I want to think better, I want to get more out of my life, etc. It may be a little bit different. It's the same as what you're doing, Baz, but you're working with different people. And it's like, there has to be a level of disciplined practice there. And we think discipline's a bad thing, but you don't get a really good mental, physical, emotional health by doing what you want, when you want, how you want. You've got to be quite consistent with some really good practices and build the foundation. You know, people say, I want to meditate what you're doing, you know, or can you show me some of them advanced things? It's like, no, because you don't have a foundation of work there. Everyone starts somewhere. And so definitely, I think you're bang on. Everyone sees like someone who's really fit or really happy. And it's easy to look at their life and be like, oh, it's what they're doing now, or it seems quite so easy. But they miss that foundation of work. And we want to jump straight in at the top, don't we? Rather than going, actually, what are they doing day to day? You know,
the basics are not sexy. You know, like I remember from my days rowing with the South African national team, and even now drilling with jiu-jitsu. Like I always refer it back to sport because that's my area of comfort, and it allows me when I hit these little roadblocks within my family, within the business, allows me to just loop that. It's no different. It's just a different area. Like the amount of hours spent drilling one position, and getting no, but still having the mindset to go, okay, what can I learn? What's the solution? But that again is like another layer. It takes a huge foundation to develop that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was talking to Jess today about this. You know, we give out a lot of free breathing things and stuff like that. I mean, if you've done the free breathing stuff on here, let us know. But I'll get a message sometimes after someone's done it for one day. It doesn't work. It's like one day. How long have you felt stressful? How long have you felt stressful? Oh, but as long as I can remember. And you think one day is going to do something.
Yeah.
Speak to me after 20 days of doing it every day, you know, and then you'll see, wow, I feel a bit better.
Yeah.
You know, it's that solid foundation that we're building, don't you think, Ben?
Man, I think you've touched on some great points there. That's some beautiful speech. But yeah, you know, it's that instant gratification, Barry, as well. Like saying, people just want it now. People are willing to do the work, and you'd be amazed how simple things are if you follow them basic steps. And a lot comes in there. Discipline is such a strong thing, and a lot of things make up the word discipline. And it's there's a time and a place now that discipline is probably the most important thing that we have. Discipline and consistency. You know, if you know, these are some. Need to be disciplined and being disciplined. It's probably another thing. Like,
well, I think most people want freedom, right? Most people want freedom in their life, physical, financial, and we seem to think that freedom means no structure, no discipline, right? And I think I can. I was talking on the free 7-day feed last night about this. I was like, look, I've had times in my life where I had loads of, you know, almost I can get up when I want, go to bed when I want. Work how I want, do what I want. I've worked hard to do that. And I tell you what, it was the most constricting place when I had no structure to my life. It was like, I was the least free I'd ever been, even though I was technically the most free. So discipline gets a bad rep, like it's boring, but structure gives you freedom. Discipline gives you freedom mentally, physically, emotionally. Some simple structures give you a huge amount of freedom.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really important to understand.
Also, save you a huge amount of energy. You know, you're running around like this the whole time, and you know, like I don't like a lot of the guys that I work with within the Performance Academy. They think I'm a complete nutcase. They're like, "Why do you get up at 4 o'clock every morning?" I'm like, I don't want to. I haven't just all of a sudden woken up and gone, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's, you know, it's been years of progress. 15 minutes. Okay, what works? But it's also the 2 hours before my actual workday starts. That 2 hours is where the headspace gets on. All those little disciplines fall into place, and that's why it allows the capacity that I have. And you know, even though Sai keeps saying to me, mate, you got to tone it down. You've only got a certain amount of energy, but and that will have to happen in time. But it's like yeah, it's like, oh man, it's always, again, it always comes back to me. It always drives me back to the place of like, you have to have a base from which to move, and without it, you're going.
Everyone is a strong foundation. Actually, Paul's popped in the comments here. I'm gonna bring it up because if I can get it on the screen. Like, I hate rules and routine, but I've discovered Paul's coming to one of our 7-day things. They're the exact things I need, right? The thing you resist is always the thing you need the most.
Yeah.
I think.
Exactly.
Great point.
Do you know what I think? I think we can all relate to that.
Great
I know
point.
in something.
Yeah. Meditation sometimes, man, I'm like, I don't want to do this because it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes that I have to sit there, and I'd rather and then as soon as I do it, I'm like, bang. That's always the thing, right? That's why, like, just very, very short rewind, where we're talking about good and bad. It's also the same thing with like a mistake. You know, if you learn from something. Like, if you continually do it, then it becomes a decision. You know, if you're continually doing the same thing over and over, then you have to ask yourself, is this a decision? And that's where, you know, like that resistance, I'm always like, okay, is this a decision that's going to knock on? What's the knock-on effect of this decision? Based on a temporary feeling. What's the knock-on effect of this? You know, I'm going to just go out and buy this. What's the knock-on effect? I'm just going to say this. What's the knock-on effect of this decision?
So pause in and then asking yourself, what's the long-term consequence?
And what's the long-term consequence of me resisting what I know I need?
Yeah, nice. I like that. Anne's put in the comments, actually, Anne Power. You have to have structures to your day, little disciplines in lockdown.
Yeah.
Routine, definitely.
Those disciplines are different for everyone. You know, that's the one thing. Like, I met on one of my travels across Europe. I met up with this strength and conditioning coach. So he has a number of Olympic athletes that have won gold medals. He's a tennis coach, but he's like a super like hermit type guy. Lives out in the middle of nowhere. But he said to me, everyone's level of success is different. I was like it means something different to everyone. Not everyone wants to be an Olympic athlete. Some people just want to represent. Some people just want to be a part of the team. And I think that's where a lot of us get caught up. We see all these influences and all these people, like, we're like, okay, that's what success, that's what my success has to be. You know, and like, I don't want to be like Elon Musk living in a factory building cars. It's like, that's not happiness to me, or it's like life. You know, some people do. They're like, I'm in for that, you know.
And what a little nugget to leave on. I think everyone needs to define their own version of success.
Yeah. And discipline, for that matter. Like, it has to serve you, you know?
Yeah. If you can define your own version of success, what's success to you? It's going to be different to everyone else. And, you know, never set sail using someone else's star, isn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's true. Set sail, get very clear at the start on what it is, you know, success is to you. The second thing is, what's discipline to you? I mean, me and Baz, we work together, but my day is very different to Barry's. You ain't going to catch me up at 4 a.m. But that's fine. Never. Yeah. You might catch me awake.
You just want to sleep at that time, you
I'm just going to sleep because.
Saying Si's just going to bed at 4 o'clock, not getting up.
Yeah, I'm usually waking up to do my meditation to hit the fucking gamma waves at that point. You know what I mean? Like, blow my mind. You know, have some supernatural experience. But you're not going to get me up at 4 a.m.
No. Hey, just let me touch on this. It's kind of what we're talking about. We're talking about, you know, freedom, what you were saying there, and discipline. And, you know, over the last 3 weeks is and take away from this what you can. You know, I've got a business partner, you can see here, you know, I'm in his lovely home, does very well. And he's probably in a position, and he said to me, I'll never forget the words, we're in a transition with some business right now. And he's like, you know, I've got all the time and money I would want right now. It still doesn't feel enough, right? Like his own progression in terms of personal life. And then look at the opposite end of the spectrum. And you can see this on America's Got Talent, a guy called Archie Williams, who was wrongly accused of something that he didn't do. And he spent 37 years incarcerated until he was free. And it was a great question. I think it was from Simon Cowell. He said, like, they took your freedom. He said, yeah, but he never took my mind.
Yeah.
He never took my freedom of my mind. And it was just both complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Again, what you would think success is and freedom is. And a man that didn't have nothing but didn't take the freedom of his mind. I mean, it leaves this on an open book to take away that, you know, and take it what you can. But I thought it was crazy.
Nice.
That was wicked.
So, folks, Baz, hey, man, thanks for coming on.
No, man, thank you. I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. It's been great.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing the little man in play. I love that. I love that. That's the best thing you can do. Folks, what I would say is I think we've got a couple more of these probably lockdown lives left. We'll have to have a chat with Ben. Ben's the boss here. We'll see there's a few more before we a little bit of a break. But, you know, let us know if you're getting a lot out of them. I'll see you later, little man. Let us know if you're getting something out of them. Feel free to give it a share and a like. There's always something of value in here. You always stay roughly, all of you, for the whole length. And so you guys that are in, you know, some of our stuff, I'll see you later. Those guys who aren't, see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.
Guys,
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Si. See you
Bye-bye.
soon, man.
appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.